SAPS and IDAC are the most corrupt organizations in South Africa. The criminals at the helm of affairs at these two organizations work hand in hand. IDAC is South Africa's top organization that is supposed to investigate corruption, but instead, corrupt police officers run this organization like their own personal affair. Today, one of the biggest confessions was made at the Madlanga Commission. General Khan and advocate Andrea Johnson were working hand in hand to silence General Mkhwanazi. General Khan specifically told IDAC's Andrea Johnson in a text message, and I quote, "Take out General Mkhwanazi. That man is spoiling our business for us." Immediately, Andrea Johnson launched an arrest on General Mkhwanazi. It didn't end there. There was a time IDAC was supposed to investigate General Khan. Instead of following due process, advocate Andrea Johnson was giving General Khan tip-offs to evade the investigation. South Africans, this is so alarming. If you hate corruption so much, hit that like button, share this video with everyone. Let's jointly expose these criminals. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Type in the comments section, "Bravo Mkhwanazi." Let's celebrate this man because these people are trying everything possible to make him look bad. Jabulani, roll the clip.
Of it doing us greater good would be.
Okay, thank you. Chair, I'm done, but I just want to ask Advocate Johnson before I step off. Advocate, we don't want another 6th of July media briefing. So I want to ask you here, right, that where you are sitting, and I'm sensitive obviously to the last part of your statement in terms of threats. Are you sitting in a position where your life is being made difficult? I mean, in terms of the work of IDAC, that you can't function, you have all these syndicates, influences, interferences that make it difficult for you to do your work. Because I won't come back after you answer that question, could I also request, if possible, in writing, any recommendations you would want the committee to consider to strengthen IDAC or even the criminal justice system in totality? Are you going to do a 6th of July on us anytime soon?
I didn't do a 6th of July, but a 6th of July was unnecessary. However, I do not know what attempts Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi made to escalate, got no joy, as he says. And when people are frustrated and their intentions are good, sometimes it comes out in the manner that it came out. But in terms of the death threats aside, I am able to do my work. It's a lot on one's shoulders. You cannot forget it. You can't just, I don't relax. There's no relaxing and just getting to work. So one would have liked me to be the me.
Explanation by Advocate Johnson, there appears to be impropriety. Just making a comment.
That is correct, Commissioner. It appears to be, and I think to me, and once again, it's my opinion. Once again, if there wasn't any impropriety, she would have told me on the 7th. She would have volunteered information saying that I was duped. It might not look good, but it is an explanation, and we could have actually gone after General Khan because what she is allegedly guilty of, he's also allegedly guilty of, because he sourced the documents from her.
Thank you.
Johnson told me that Advocate Batoy showed her the Colonel's affidavit when I met with her on the 7th of September 2022. In Mr. Bateman's WhatsApp messages to Advocate Nell on 5 September 2022, he said that Advocate Johnson told him that Advocate Batoy approached her about the Colonel's affidavit. He says that Advocate Johnson told him she was not interested in seeing the statement. Mr. Bateman also mentioned in his WhatsApp messages to Advocate Nell and Advocate Johnson that
told him that I had no choice.
No choice but to approach General Labia. This confirms to me that General Labia met Advocate Batoy and gave her the Colonel's affidavit. So thereafter, Advocate Batoy either showed or gave the Colonel's statement to Advocate Johnson. There is a part in one of the messages, and I don't recall reading it, in which Bateman, as part of his WhatsApp messages, says there's an issue between Khan and Petley. Now, that information could have only come from the affidavit itself. From
Yes, it is there. You did read it.
Oh, I did, sorry. So if I did it, I'm sorry. But that information was in the affidavit.
Yes, it's
So
on
if
page
you had-
53 of the screenshots.
If you have access to the affidavit, you would have known that kind of detail.
You may continue. Paragraph 26.
On 31 January 2025, I retired from the South African Police Service. At that stage, we were unable to secure the appointment of a prosecutor to consider both Brigadier Petley's criminal complaint against General Khan and the allegations against Advocate Johnson of what I considered to be defeating the ends of justice. When I retired, the docket was assigned to Captain McLean, who had worked with me on the case from the start and to whom I report regularly on my interactions with role players where he had not accompanied me. I think it's important for the Commission to hear from Captain McLean and the Colonel as well, because they will corroborate my version, especially regarding what I reported to Captain McLean contemporaneously. It may be important corroboration if those implicated them to rewrite history. And then paragraph 28, I hope that my testimony will assist the Commission in its important work.
Thank you, Commissioners. That's the evidence of the Colonel.
Colonel, when you met with Advocate Johnson on the 7th of September, did you mention to her, or did you get the impression, if you did, that she knew that this was a protected disclosure?
Commissioner, I can't answer the question because she did not allude to anything like that. But what I do know, if she had access to the affidavit, which I believe she did, she would have seen it. It would have been in. It was a protected disclosure based on the facts in the affidavit itself.
Based on the facts, you mean the nature of the allegation?
The nature of the allegation, where she worked, the fact that she could be intimidated, the fact that the guy was a superior officer. So those are the things, if you look at the act itself, those are the kind of things that you look out for when it is a protected disclosure.
Thank you.
Colonel, I prefer the Africans because I'm a Rauki.
And I do not prefer the rank because, quite frankly, I'm not a huge fan of the ranks within the police.
The English and the Australians prefer Colonel.
Yes.
In paragraph 12 of your statement, you seem to be suggesting that what Advocate Johnson did amounts to interference with investigation and defeating the ends of justice. What is it about her conduct constitutes, according to you, interference with investigation and defeating the ends of justice?
Well, there's Commissioners, there's more than two issues, but the ones that comes to mind is the fact that she would warn a suspect before the time of and provide the statement before that person is entitled to the statement, the suspect's entitled. And as a prosecutor, she must know that. The second thing is calling the witnesses and calling me in and calling Bateman. That to me is another huge red flag, because she is, as far as I'm concerned, the implicated person. She did not deny that she was duped by Khan. She did not say that had I known this was the issue. So that never happened. So as far as I'm concerned, when I was in there and that happened, that is why I'm saying this, that it was done deliberately. There's more than two things. It's also the effect of a call from someone of her stature to a witness saying to him, "I'm giving you a heads up that Hawks is going to come and talk to you." That to me is also not on. And then the second thing is to imply you don't have anything to worry about. It's sort of trying to comfort the guy. But why make the call in the first place? Because you're telling him, actually, you've got something to worry about. So make sure that you say the right thing. That is my inference from the situation itself. Because we don't do things like this when we investigate matters. As an investigating officer, I don't do things like this. So I expect more from a prosecutor when it comes to this kind of action.
And then the documents that she would have obtained from Mr. Bateman. I understand that Mr. Bateman at the time was a journalist.
That is correct.
So is it not fair then to say the documents or the docket or its contents were already in the public domain because the journalist already was in possession of them? Even the journalist himself could have given them to General Khan.
I understand the question, but the docket or the information in the docket is not supposed to be in the public domain. It got there in an unsanctioned format, because if you look at it, Mr. Bateman was not entitled to that documents. So it's not part of the public domain. The public domain comes when you go to court and the documents are handed up. Then it is public domain. But at that point in time, it's not in the public domain. The fact that you have a source who gave you the documents does not make it in the public domain, not as far as I'm concerned when it comes to a reporter. You can't circumvent the process just because a source gave you the information.
So in short, you say even Mr. Bateman was not properly in possession of the docket, and Ms. Johnson should have known that when she received it from him, and she should not have shared it with the with the suspect in the assault complaint.
That is correct, Commissioners. And I think what takes it further for me is the fact that she requested that private emails being used, because it was done on her Gmail account. She asked the Colonel to go to her Gmail account, and she also asked the Colonel to delete the emails when it was done. So those things, if it was an above board conversation, you would use your NPA email account. You would request the documents, because you are actually entitled to request documents in her position. But if you want to put a layer between yourself and the request, that is when you go off the grid and you do it that way. She had access to her official email. She did not have to use a Gmail address and did not have to ask the witness to destroy or to delete the emails. So those are the things that is what made it to, that is what informed me of what she did. I have led many investigations into corruption by police officials within SAPS, and with a specific reference to crime intelligence. I'm well aware of how important it is not to prematurely release the name of a witness. It puts the investigation into jeopardy, and more importantly, it has the potential to put the life of the witness in danger. This is amplified in the specific situation because General Khan and the Colonel were both working at Crime Intelligence in the same office at the time. As stated earlier, before my meeting with Advocate Johnson, I had already been informed that Advocate Johnson had spoken to Mr. Bateman about the Colonel's affidavit. My interaction with Mr. Leeks on 5 and 6 September is set out below, and I have provided the Commission with the screenshots of the exchange as well. Mr. Leeks told me that Mr. Bateman sent a WhatsApp message to Advocate Harry Nell after his conversation with Advocate Johnson on 5 September. I quote the conversation between Mr. Leeks and me below, as well as the forwarded messages with my translation from Afrikaans to English where necessary.
Thank you, Colonel. If you can just pause here, Commissioners, the conversation appears on page 49, the screenshot, and the Colonel had apologized for the quality thereof. He needed his daughter to assist him in taking the screenshot. So it's on page 49, and you will see the that is between you and Mr. Leesk on the yes,
that is correct, Commission. That is between myself and Mr. Leesk.
You may proceed, Colonel. You don't have to read the date and time in. We are looking at the screenshot, so you can just read the translation, perhaps, from Mr. Leesk.
The translation from the affidavit.
Yes.
It says, Icobus, we need to talk, which is on the 5th. And on the 6th, there's a missed call from Mr. Leesk. And also on...
I think you're now at paragraph 20, so there's the missed call, and then you explain what happened after there, because there's a gap between the missed call and the next message. So you can just go to your statement, paragraph 20.
Paragraph 20, although I do not have a clear recollection at this stage, clear recollection, at this stage, Mr. Leesk and I must have had a telephonic conversation about the matter. I recall I was in Cape Town between 2 and 6 September 2022 and flew back to Gauteng on the 6th of September 2022. It would have been in the afternoon. I think it was during this call on either the evening of 5 September or 6 September 2022 that Mr. Leesk informed me of the conversation between Mr. Bateman and Advocate Johnson. I say so because after Mr. Leesk requested us to talk, he missed his missed call. The next message is from me asking which number was used, referring to the number that Advocate Johnson used to contact Mr. Bateman. During this call, Mr. Leesk told me that Advocate Johnson contacted Mr. Bateman to assure him not to worry. I remember asking Mr. Leesk to tell Mr. Bateman to immediately make a note of what he could remember and was discussed with Advocate Johnson. The WhatsApp exchanges continue below. At 14:25, I asked which number was used. Mr. Leesk responded. I'll read the English version. Bibi says he got a call on WhatsApp and she said he must go to Signal. I don't know which one she used, but it was to her number. And then it says, it gives a number and it says, I'll find out. Then I send him a thumbs up.
If we can just then go to that message where that references that Mr. Bateman said that he got a call on WhatsApp and she said he must go to Signal on page 58 of the exhibit bundle. If you can just explain to us what we're looking at on page 58.
This is a screenshot or a photo that I took of, I think it's Mr. Bateman's phone, with the request by Advocate Johnson to go to Signal.
The request from Advocate Johnson to Mr. Bateman
To
on
Mr.
the
Bateman.
5th of September.
That is correct. That's correct, Commissioners. I can also inform the Commission that on various occasions, Advocate Johnson was not only stating to me, but to the office as well, you need to use Signal because WhatsApp is not as secure as you think. And she prefers to use Signal because it's much more secure. So I presume that's the reason why he was asked to go to Signal.
And this was the call on the 5th of September, which you knew about already when Advocate Johnson approached you on the 7th of September.
That is correct, Commissioners.
Okay. So we can go back to your statement at paragraph 21.
Mr. Leask and I arranged to meet to discuss the matter further. He sent me his location because the location was different to where I had met him and Mr. Bateman, Advocate Nell, the first time. And then it just shows a map that was sent to me.
And then paragraph 22.
If I recall correctly, on 7th September 22, I would have met Mr. Leask after my meeting with Advocate Johnson. I do recall that Mr. Leask sent the WhatsApp exchange between Bateman and Advocate Johnson and Advocate Nell before I went to meet him. I know that I did not have the WhatsApp exchange between Mr. Bateman and Advocate Nell when I met Advocate Johnson, which means that Mr. Leask forwarded the exchange to me after my meeting with Advocate Johnson, but before my meeting with him. Paragraph 23, page 10. Mr. Leask forwarded the WhatsApp messages from Mr. Bateman to Advocate Gerrinal on 5 September 2022 to me. These messages are quoted below.
If we could go to page 51 of the exhibit bundle. So this is what Mr. Leask forwards to you, which is a conversation, which is messages that Mr. Bateman sends to Advocate Nell after he gets the call from Advocate Johnson on the 5th of September.
That is correct, Commissioners, after his discussion with her.
Okay, if you can then just read from the forwarded, sorry, on page 51.
Must I read from the actual?
Yes, I think
document?
It's easier. Yeah. I'll just remind you that there is redaction, so I'll tell you when to stop.
Okay, it starts as follows. Sorry to hassle you, Mr. Nell. Andrea just called me. Called to say that she was called into a meeting with the NDPP. Libya had approached the NDPP last week with information.
Then you don't have to read the next part. You can start again by she has provided statement.
She has provided statement about an email that I apparently sent in 2018, something about requesting information. Unclear. Andrea not worried. She says there's nothing that she did, that she said to me or communicated that she could not repeat.
Elsewhere on the next page, 53.
In the middle of the page, it continues that she could not repeat elsewhere. Referred to issues between Khan and Petle, said I often approach her about media issues and questions. Told the NDPP she is not interested in seeing the statement. Next page, saying that if there is to be an investigation, they must investigate. Just wanted to give you
give
Just
me,
wanted to give me the heads up in case the Hawks came asking, next page, came asking questions. She says Kobus was approached with the statement and he works for her, so he had no choice to approach Libya.
by Kobus, that is you.
That is me, yes, commissioners. Reiterated that as he is not concerned, reiterated, I presume she is not concerned. She has work to do and will get on with what she has to do. Says,
Next page.
says there is something, if there is something to explain, she will. Told me not to be worried. And then there's another photo of the phone itself
With
for David. She then told me that she read the colonel's affidavit and that she denied any wrongdoing. Paragraph 15. She also informed me that she spoke to Mr. Bateman before meeting with me and told Mr. Bateman not to worry. She also said that she understood the reason I approached General Libya. By this I understood Advocate Johnson to mean that given that the allegations implicate her, she understood why I did not deal with the incident within IDAC, but instead went to the head of the DPSI. Paragraph 16. When Advocate Johnson approached me on the 7th of September 2022, I already knew that she'd spoken to Bateman. I can just say here that I didn't tell her that I knew that she'd spoken to Bateman. Because Mr. Leesk told me that Bateman had informed Mr. Gerenel of the conversation between him, Bateman, and Advocate Johnson. Mr. Leesk did not give me the details of what was discussed between Mr. Bateman and Advocate Johnson. I do not recall the exact date when he would have informed me of the call, but from our WhatsApp exchanges with Mr. Leesk on 5 and 6 September, I think it would have been on the 6th of September 2022. Paragraph 17. During our investigation, I was able to confirm that General Libya met with Advocate Betoy on the 2nd of September 2022. That was confirmation for me that General Libya gave the Colonel's affidavit to Advocate Betoy, which I did not take issue with, since my reason for approaching General Libya was for assistance with the appointment of a senior prosecutor. To my knowledge, the only people who had sight of the Colonel's affidavit when I met with General Libya were the Colonel, Captain McLean, General Libya, and me. Advocate Betoy is the only person I can think of who would have shown or given the Colonel's affidavit to Advocate Johnson. After General Libya gave it to her at the meeting on the 2nd of September 2022, I do not believe that General Libya shared or showed the Colonel's affidavit to. I do not believe that General Libya showed or shared the Colonel's affidavit with Advocate Johnson. The irony of the situation was not lost on me. Advocate Betoy, by sharing the Colonel's statement with Advocate Johnson, did the same thing Advocate Johnson had done by sharing Brigadier Petley's criminal complaint against General Khan with him. Paragraph 18.
Sorry, before you proceed, Colonel, in this discussion with Advocate Johnson, did you ask and did she say why it was that she forwarded the documents to General Khan? Did she say anything about that?
Commissioner, she said nothing. I would have expected under the circumstances. If she was given access to the affidavit of the complainant, of the colonel that I would have expected. That was my expectation. I mean, firstly, I didn't expect that it would have been given to her, but now it has been given to her. She had access to it. I would have expected the following reaction. Where can I sign the affidavit? Because this was done, I was duped by providing this information to him. I understand the problem, and I think I need to provide you with an affidavit to further your investigation. That is what I expected, because to me that would have been the right thing to do. But she did not touch on why she asked for it. She did not try to explain the situation. She just said to me, and I think it's quoted here somewhere, I didn't do anything wrong. And that is the extent of what she said. And apart from that, she was telling me about, she spoke to Bateman. She's now speaking to me. We both are witnesses in this matter. After that conversation with Bateman, it took us 4 years to eventually get Bateman's statement. So from where I sat, that call did in fact play a role in him not finalizing his affidavit. And it's a very subtle way to tell someone not to assist in an investigation. I mean, a mere fact, in one of the WhatsApps, she tells him, I'm giving you a heads up, the Hawks will come and talk to you. I mean, you don't do that. That's not your function to do that kind of thing. So I had a huge problem with the situation as it was. I've been fighting with the NPA, as I said, since 2011. So I've been through this process. I know that when the NPA is not going to prosecute or do not want to have a look at the docket or at the situation, they will not. So it took the matter that I was with, the Madlanga matter, it took it about 12 years to get into court. So I knew at that point in time when I had this discussion with her that we are very limited in terms of what we can do from now on, because I'm not going to risk the colonel's career and life by continuing a situation that I now know for sure the NPA is not going to do anything about. So that is the position that I found myself in, and I was very upset by it. So, but it happens within our environment at times, so you have to deal with it.
When she says, I did nothing wrong, when she says that to you, did you understand her to say, by forwarding these documents to General Khan, she did not consider that to be anything wrong about it? Was that your understanding of her?
That was my understanding from the comment she made.
Yes.
So there was no explanation as to why. Because on the face of it, there cannot be, and it's my interpretation, there cannot be a good explanation as to why you did it, except if you didn't know and you were duped. And then I expect the other reaction, which I described earlier. Where can I sign the affidavit? Because I was put in a position where I was not supposed to be put in. And you get that normally with a lot of these cases that you investigate, had I known that scenario. So if she had known, then she would not offer assistance in terms of an affidavit. If she did not know, I would have gotten assistance. So that is how I see the situation.
Thank you, Colonel.
Thank you, Commissioner. Colonel, back to your statement.